What do you mean you didn't know? I am being so sincere right now because I truly want to understand how it is possible that in this day and age where we have access to any piece of information that we want in our hands, and we have 40 years of history that we can look back on for this individual, where a scenario exists that you legitimately wouldn't know. There have been dozens of women who have made allegations of SA that span 4 decades. There's video, pictures, audio, testimonies, flight logs. He has been held accountable in court for one of those essays. Where's the confusion? This is also an individual that has a history of conning people, not paying people. He's been in court hundreds of times over the last 4 decades. And I think he's lost about 92% of these lawsuits because he, in fact, does scam and cheat people. He has been found guilty of fraud in a court of law on 30, however many counts. Where's the confusion? Why are you not connecting that all of those things that span 40 years are the same exact person that is now in the White House right now? Where's the disconnect? And beyond that, where was the confusion about his policies? He told you what he was going to do. There's a 900-page manifesto. I know he said that, no, I don't know anything about that. But before the election, I asked, what is the difference between the policies that he's presenting and he's owning up to and the policies in Project 2025? I never got an answer because they were in fact the same. What he was saying out loud as the policies that he wanted to implement was what was in Project 2025. Yet we were told, no, that's not the case.
So I just saw this video of this white man who's not MAGA, by the way, or at least he says he's not, but because he damn sure selling the look. But he says he has a fake account over on Twitter, and he joined this group of white farmers, and he's pretending to be MAGA just to see what they're talking about. So apparently they had this group chat or group call where the white MAGA farmers were upset and saying the only reason why they voted for Shitty Britches was because they thought the blacks didn't have jobs and the blacks would come back and work their fields. They thought they were going to get slavery back by voting for Shitty Britches. But they have been saying loud and proud with their chest that immigrants were taking their jobs. Yet, there are a couple of farms here in Texas that overnight lost 100% of their workforce. But immigrants was taking their jobs, right? Racism is expensive, huh?
White people, I keep getting this comment right here. So my question is this: do y'all look at all black people as the same? And I want to ask y'all, I don't want to hear from nobody else but y'all. Like I said, I don't know what Hulk Hogan did. I don't know. And I don't care what he did because he wasn't never my favorite wrestler. I always liked the Kane and Undertaker. What I'm asking is, do y'all look at every black person and be like, yeah, I don't like them, I don't like him, or I don't like that type? Or y'all just don't like black people at all? Like I said, it's no hard feeling. It's just me asking a simple question. Because me personally, I don't feel like y'all dislike us. I feel like y'all dislike a certain...
Why do white people resent black excellence? Let's talk about it. Not all white people are racist, obviously, but there is a specific subset for whom black excellence seems like a personal affront to them, right? It really bothers them when black people succeed. The 13th Amendment emancipated enslaved black Americans in 1865, and then the Jim Crow laws kind of wrapped up with the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. So if we do the math, that's about 61 years in which black Americans were able to strive for success in any sort of meaningful way without like the constraints of the law pulling them down. 61 years. If we compare that to white Americans who besieged a land already owned and occupied by indigenous Americans, we'll put that around 1620 when, the Mayflower came here, then that gives them about 425 years to establish success in this country. 425 versus 61. If we compare those two fundamentally very different time spans, how much did white Americans actually do in all of that time? If we are to compare even the poorest and most underprivileged of white America to black America generally, it is clear that white Americans are born way past the start line, right? By that I mean, by nature of being white in American society, you do benefit from all sorts of privileges. And to be frank, you're not exhausted by the horrible experience of facing racism on a daily basis, right? You do have a ton of privileges. So I imagine existing in this bubble of privilege that you totally deny, the existence of black people for whom success is second nature when it comes so easily and so readily, even though you've only had 61 years to achieve it. I imagine that's exhausting and frustrating. I imagine it makes people feel super, super inferior and hurts certain people's tiny, tiny little egos. And what do they blame that deep, deep psychic pain on? Well, of course, DEI and critical race theory and affirmative action. So I guess the question is, what might help those white Americans who just so strongly detest black excellence? What will help you? And for that, I would suggest a lot of therapy, a ton of therapy. And I would also just suggest that we open the schools, right? We teach people history. Yeah, maybe? Okay, bye.
And I need you to listen closely, the only reason why this is going on in the United States of America, the only reason why is because there's a fear of black domination, period. You have to know actual history, not history from elementary school and what you learned in petty little high school, okay? You have to, even in college, you have to learn way more, okay? Those books are crafted, okay, to teach you what they want you to know about history. No. You have to go back and get real history, okay, to understand why people voted blindly, okay, blindly, no matter what the bills were, no matter what the laws were going to be passed, no matter what, they voted blindly because of only one thing, okay, the fear of black domination. I am not lying to you, okay? This is real history. I tell the truth, shame the devil, okay? Well, during the election, you got brainwashed people, you got racist people, you have stuff like that going on, but you also have history. So some people don't even understand why they are doing what they're doing. They're doing it because mama and them did it and they did it and that's the way it's supposed to go because this is how we maintain control and this is what. Okay? It's the fear of black domination. I'm going to show it to you. So Reverend C. Morris wrote this back in 1903 and he was a black leader. And he was talking about certain things. The Negro grows $1 billion worth of produce. He grows 8 million bales of cotton against the 4 million as a slave. He has earned 400 million since the war and is yearly increasing his land holdings. I know you're going to say, what? Calm down. I'm getting ready to show you something else. I showed you that part first just to give you an idea of the progress, the fast progress of Black Americans post-emancipation. Okay? That's one. All right? So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to show you where white people prefer to steal. They prefer to steal before they feel like they're going to be dominated by anybody black. This was written in 1888. 2 years ago, the leading citizens, both Republicans and Democrats, petitioned the county judge to have a Republican judge at each place of election. It was ignored, claiming they would rather steal than have Negro domination. Claiming that they would rather steal than have Negro domination. Now, I know that was in the 1800s. Negro domination. The fear of it made the South solid and keeps it so. Now I'm going to show you why they like to break up and cause migrations in the Black American community. They like to cause people to move and separate. Okay? Because if we grow too big in an area, they lose political power. Right? So watch this. This was in 1937. One of the objectives of the Constitutional Convention of 1901.
You see what they're doing in Texas? What they're doing in Texas is Donald Trump told Texas and Mr. Hot Wheels Greg Abbott to give him some more Republican congressional seats because his Republican people are reading the tea leaves and he's going to get shellacked in the upcoming midterms. That's what all the indicators look like right now. And so they're afraid of losing power. He's afraid of not being able to get his stuff through Congress. And he's afraid of impeachment and all these things. And so he told Texas, look, you're big and you talk a tough game, but I know you guys are lackeys to me. So get me some congressional seats. And Texas said, okay, we're going to do it. And they've gerrymandered and carved up the state of Texas to flip 5 Democratic congressional districts and turn them red. And that would, in theory, help Trump hold on to power and gain more power in Congress. Now, let me see, California, Illinois, and a couple other blue states said, well, if you do that, then we're going to do that. And California in particular can carve up this state so Republicans have even less power than they have now. So anyway, here's where American history always comes back. It always comes back. Because after the Civil War, during that tiny little period of Reconstruction, what was it, 10, 12 years, black people gained political power. We were a couple of mayors, we have people in Congress, and we exercised our rights under the Constitution. And the Confederate people and the racists and white supremacists said, this is going too far, strip it all away. They kicked us out of office, they burned our towns, they killed our mayors, everything. They stopped us from being able to vote, and then we had 100 years of Jim Crow segregation. So everything Donald Trump and Republicans are doing now harken back to that. Because the whole idea about districting Texas is just about stealing black political power. That's it. And it all goes back to Barack Obama. Because listen, the majority of white voters vote Republican and have since the 60s, since the civil rights, right? Those two things are connected. The majority of white people vote Republican and have since the civil rights. And the majority of white voters in America love American-style democracy only up until the point where a black man was in charge of it. That's it. And ever since then, we've been when he got elected in 2008, we're going on 20 years. We've been in a 20-year downward spiral. That was stopped a little bit by Biden Harris. But even Harris getting so close, they don't want that. They don't want black people to have power in this country. And all of their moves, going back to Barack Obama 2008, Barack Obama 2012, stopping Hillary. Don't forget, Hillary got and was still very popular among black people, particularly black women. And then we got Kamala in there as the number 2 to Biden. And look, a lot of people say she won. I'm just going to deal with the reality is right now that she lost, and that was cutting it too close. And so they're doing everything they can to make sure that black people never have that kind of power again. That's why they're going after Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown. That's why. It's to get black people out of political power and make sure that there's never another Barack Obama, there's never another Kamala Harris. That's all it is. That is all they're doing right now. And so what Democrats have to do in the states with congressional power is, if Texas does 5, then combined the Democrats need to do about 15. It does. If they take 10, you take 20. So you have to, and when a bully threatens you and shoves you in the shoulder, you put them on the ground. That's what they need to do. So again, the story is that once again, Republicans are systematically going after black power, and they're doing it to protect Donald Trump and other white supremacists.
Instead of confronting the problems in their community, they immediately go to black people. You pivoting to black people. You understand what I'm saying? See, that's why I don't like to hear no talk from other groups, other immigrants. No, notice they didn't pivot to Hispanics. They didn't pivot to Asians. That's why all that people of color crap and all this other groups need to do this and that. No, they pivot immediately to black people. They didn't pivot to Africans. They didn't pivot to Caribbeans. Immediately pivot to us. That's what they do. They never want to confront their issues. And that alone, not confronting their issues, is what they're talking about. Their numbers. That's what's getting rid of your numbers, is you not confronting your issues. They were talking very, very greasy before this guy was captured. Now, since he's captured, all their conversation got different now. Trump was talking about radical left and all, but Trump was just going in about that. Right? Then they capture him and they like, oh, well, I mean, this is sad. I'm like, what I'm learning about, I have learned about that culture. They have a rule. It don't matter what horrific thing that they do, you do not openly condemn it. You don't. It don't matter who you do it to, who they do it to. And a lot of them like Charlie Kirk. I would think that they would really be just on the same energy. Why you turn the energy to black people when you should be turning it to your own community and say, wait a minute, hold on. What are we doing in this community? Why are we doing all this? It's no discussion.
But I have to say, the strongest magic white folks used on black folks was telling us that our indigenous spirituality and cosmology was demonic. That has to be the strongest magic that white folks used on our ancestors. And of course, it didn't work on all of our ancestors, because the beautiful spirituality of hoodoo existed and still continues to exist. But even up until this point, even right now, 2025, most black folks still believe that their indigenous African spirituality and cosmology, they believe right now that hoodoo is demonic. And that is, my folks, the strongest, most powerful magic white folk have ever used on black folk all around the world and here in the United States as well. Keep the faith. Ise, Ashe, Ayibobo. Peace.
Come to my comment section to see white people fight for the right to remain violent towards black people, and we stay silent.
You're in? Okay, good. Here we go. If you guys want to have jokes for days, like just crack up, you need to come to my comment section, particularly when I'm speaking about Mzungus and their behavior. You will see them in that comment section fighting for the right to be racist. And they do it on fake accounts. It's hilarious. Like they get so wound up with my videos, and all my videos talk about is their behavior. And then they come to the comment section and do said behavior that I'm speaking about. So yes, if you want to have a good old, see what I'm talking about, come to my comment section, because it's always buzzing. And I forever love when the black people go in there and just drop their one-liners. Boom. The anger of white people to black people is that they want the right. They want to remain to have the right in law and society and our environment to remain violent towards us. That's really what the problem is. They are fighting for the right to remain violent towards us, and us say nothing about it. That is why they're angry with the videos I make. That is what they're fighting for. And they come to the comment section to do. You see, in politics with Donald Trump right now, they want the right to abuse black people, and black people say nothing about it. That is that is the proudness they want to keep. And yeah, I'll be on this hill by myself if I must. Yeah. So no thanks. Back to sender.
So as of yesterday, I recorded a video that I didn't know how it was going to be received, but as of today, the video has went viral with thousands of shares, and it's reached people outside of America. It has reached people from Germany. It's reached people from the UK. It's reached people from Africa. It's reached people all the way to Australia. And I just want to encourage anyone watching, that's the power of using your voice. And so, but today's video is going to make a lot of people very, very uncomfortable, especially if you're white. Because white people are not off of the hook. Because moments like this, white people get let off the hook because they posted a picture or they used to.
Hi guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. I really hope you have watched the full clip, and all credits goes to original creator of the video. Okay guys, in today's clip is how white people, they are so furious, they are confused, and they are worried. Why do black people choose to remain silent during this hard time of economy? Why do black people ain't complaining while they are sad? Why do black people live just a normal life, happy, while they are really going through? And black people, they have really come out in large number, and they have decided to choose silent. And most of the black, they are saying that we can be in a position to help you, but we have also gone through a lot. We have gone through a lot for a very long period of time. There's no anyone who really came out and tried to help us. The only thing we did is we usually turn to our God. One thing I really love about our black brothers is how they really have strong faith in God. We usually turn to our God, and our God always guides us. And this is the reason why maybe black people, they have been able to strive and be able to maneuver and be able to fight all this fight for a very long period of time. And this is the reason why they've been able to survive, because living in this Western country is kind of hard to black people, whereby you go to a company, they deny you a job with purpose. They don't want you to give you a job. Whenever you go, they just hate on you. Whenever you go, there's racism everywhere, and these people don't like to see maybe black people maybe having good things, maybe having good life. They don't want to see such a thing. They just want to see other brothers or black brothers suffering. And the big mistake these people really did is that they really voted against their own interest, and they voted out of hatred and out of racism. They thought that this new administration won't affect other people. It won't affect them. They thought this new administration won't affect them. It will just affect other races. It will affect the immigrants. It will affect the black people that are living in America. But right now, we have all seen how things have really changed. That the cost of living, it has really risen up. Grocery prices has risen up. People ain't going to vacation. People ain't going to support those local people. Like we have all seen on the other video that I posted, the Texas Fair. There's no anyone who is going to visit in there, and people are really coming out in line number, and they're saying that yeah, we can be in a position to go in there, but these people, they have really hiked up their prices, and right now we don't have money to go and spend in these places. And one thing these people, they didn't realize is that whenever all these people are going to shopping or going to groceries, the prices are just the same for white people, for immigrant, and for black people. There's no way you can go and buy something and maybe will be sold at this price, and black people maybe will be sold at this price. The price is just the same. And this one thing I just want them to learn, that is that racism is so very expensive, because if these people couldn't vote out of hatred or out of racism, American could be greater once again. But right now We've all seen how a lot of people that really came out in large number. All those people who are living in United States, they are saying that American is dream, is normal, and they are really warning those people who really want to go to visit to United States, because we really know that America is that one land where it is a land of more opportunities. Even current now, a lot of people really know that America is a land of more opportunities. Whenever you go in there, there's a lot of opportunities whereby you can be able to survive in there. You can be able to work several jobs, at least you can work and be paid to able to live a better life. But right now there is high unemployment rate in America. Parents, they have really come out in large number and they are really complaining that they have really educated their children. Earlier on, the system really favored them a lot, whereby you just have to go to study, go to college, and to get and work. But right now, the system isn't favoring anyone. You can go to college. After you finish college, you come outside there, you try to find a job. There's no any company that's really employing you. And we have all seen how this new admission has really affected a lot of people. We've all seen how a lot of people are really suffering, especially white farmers. Trump tariffs has really affected them a lot, whereby they can't be able to sell or sell their food stuff to other countries, because these countries, these tariffs has really affected them a lot, and a lot of farmers that will come out in large number. They are crying of how they are losing their farms. They are crying of how they are going bankrupt, and there's no anyone to save them or help them. To an extent whereby they have decided to call for government to bail them out. The government to hand out them, and a lot of people, they really came out in large number and they're saying that these people really hated socialism, and right now they want handouts. There's no way our taxpayer money will maybe bail you out. You just have to pull up your socks, put more effort, to work very hard, because you are the one who really voted for this. We voted so that at least you can save in business, but you didn't listen to us. We really want you not to vote for this new admission, but you didn't listen to us. And now you are just crying out for help of how the government should bail them out. A lot of people, they have really refused this thing, and we really hope things will be better in America. This video is just only for educational purpose. We are just here to learn, and we are just here to learn maybe our mistake. And we do know people do mistake, and they really do change, and just for educational purpose. And we really hope things will be better in America. American dream will still be there. A lot of people will really still admire to go to United States, because this is the land of more opportunities. And guys, if this was the first time I come across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you. Remember, you are one love.